Hey guys, welcome to a brand new day of Build Series. I'm your host, Charles Thorpe. I'm very excited about Bob Harper in the studio, guys. Give him a round of applause, please. Love Bob. Now, if you're watching at home, you want to join the conversation, super easy. Hit the button that says ask a question or tweet at Build Series NYC. Now, since first appearing on NBC's hit show, The Biggest Loser, Bob has become one of the most well-known and well-respected trainers in the world. Today, he uses that platform to help millions get healthy. Let's welcome Bob to the stage after we show a quick clip of Biggest Loser. Thank you.
Think about it, girls. This is the week that we make a difference here at Comeback Canyon. Because there's a red line at the ranch, usually the person coming into Comeback Canyon has an advantage. This time, both girls lost 3 pounds, so it's anybody's game this week. Jackie, you've got to put forth a lot of effort. This girl is a competitor, and she's going to give you a run for your money. Fight for it, Jackie. Come on.
This week, I'm not only fighting against a good competitor, but I feel like I'm also fighting against young metabolism.
There's 2 weigh-ins in a row. It's yours for the taking. Let's go.
But I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. I fought to be a really great basketball player, and now I'm fighting to be a better mother and be the first person to be here 2 weeks in a row. So there's no way I'm giving up.
Think about how bad it felt thinking that you were going to go home. It's not over. You got a second chance.
Being given the second chance, I'm gonna give it everything I got. I definitely think that I still have a lot of work to do emotionally. I still smile to cover up everything.
Kick. Yeah, I want a tidal wave up in this pool.
I'm not gonna let my injury get in the way again. I'm gonna get back on that ranch and smoke the competition.
All right, so we're done. You did a good job up in this pool today. It'll be an interesting week.
Guys, Bob Harper in the studio. Here we go.
God. Hi, everyone. When I hear my voice sometimes, I'm just like, do I really sound like that?
Now, do you watch many episodes? Do you catch yourself on TV a lot?
I don't. I feel like I've lived it. I've lived it all, so all the memories are up here in my head, so it's good to keep them there.
How you doing today? You look great, obviously.
Oh,
I mean, you're a
thanks.
pretty busy dude.
I haven't seen you since... Gosh, it was just soon after my heart attack. A couple of months we met at that coffee shop, and so much has happened in that time. It's been a crazy year for me. I feel like I am getting healthier and stronger, and I'm taking it day by day, and that's all I can do.
It's amazing. And now you have this great book out there to help people as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the book and how the concept came?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this book, The Super Carb Diet, because it's a very personal book for me, because I was working on this book during when I had my heart attack. So when I came out of the heart attack and was in my recovery, I knew that I needed to kind of go back and put in what had happened to me, because it would be just kind of weird if I
had you already worked on it?
Oh, it was pretty much done, and so I had to really go back to the drawing board. The very beginning of the book is my whole story of what had happened to me, and what I really wanted to do with this diet book is to kind of press the reset button on people's diets. I feel like there's been so many extremes, and I've done them all, and I've been in the business for a really long time, and I just wanted to get people back to the basics. I want you to be able to look at your plate and say to yourself, where's my protein, where's my fat, where's my carbs at every single meal, and not be afraid of carbs. I think carbs have gotten a really bad rap. I mean, there's bad carbs out there, which we all know about. I call it garbage in the book. But don't be afraid of... I don't want to do a diet that tells me I can't eat an apple. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, what are the good carbs that you're talking about? Explain about that.
Yeah, well, of course, it's all the fruits, all the vegetables that we know about, all the complex carbohydrates, whole grain breads, pastas that are out there. I've done all this discovery of red lentil pastas, chickpea pastas. Have you ever had these?
I haven't had those. No, absolutely not.
They're so good.
Oh, you guys, has everybody had those? Okay, she's nodding her head. Okay, everybody's more healthy than me.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think when it comes to pasta, because everyone's like, oh, you can't have pasta when you're on a diet. I'm like, well, yeah, actually, I think you can when done correctly. Pasta only tastes like what you put on it. So it's like, I love
vehicle for
yeah.
for
I like to
sauce.
get into the kitchen. I cook a lot, and so I'm like trying to come up with these really healthy toppings for my pasta. And it's just like one thing I learned from Rachel Ray. She's a friend of mine, and
You're on the show quite a bit, actually.
yeah,
Yeah,
I do her show quite a bit, and she's taught me so much. But one thing she says is like, pasta is Italian, but it's never been a main dish. It should be a second dish. And I think that like we as Americans kind of like take it to the extreme. So.
Now, what I think you're so adept at telling this story because you've tried everything. You've done paleo, you've done vegan, you've done vegetarian. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that journey and what inspires you to sort of change up your diet and reset yourself?
Well, I've been in this business for a long time, and I'm like a sponge. Like, I want to learn everything that you have to teach me. It's like that's how I've always been in my life, and I'd like to try things out, and I like to see what's out there. I think for me personally now, my diet is mostly plant-based. It's like I said, I think the next book I'm going to be talking about at some point will be called The Reluctant Vegetarian, because that's kind of like where I've kind of put myself, and my doctors want me to lean more toward a plant-based diet. I'm just trying to get people to eat more vegetables. That's why it's like in my book, I'd say that I want you to have 3 square meals a day, and I want you to eat vegetables every single time, because that's a way to like really bulk up your food without bulking up your waistline.
I love the term plant-based because I think there's a connotation with vegan. Obviously, people sort of imagine you cutting everything out. Actually, you're adding things. You're adding a lot of plants. You know, what are the things that you sort of introduced to your diet since?
Yeah, I think that I really look at. I had such a mentality, and I'm sure we've all kind of thought this way. It's like everyone's saying to me, where are you getting your protein? Where are you getting protein? Is just like being just bombarded everywhere. It's like this is what we have to eat. It's going to build my muscle, and I get it. It's going to build your muscle, all the things. But I want more of a balance. So it's like where people keep saying, "Where's your protein? Where's your protein?" I'm trying to get them to change their way of speaking and say, "Where's the balance? Where's the balance?" And so that's why I really focus more on all the vegetables. And I know that the protein's going to come. It's like I don't really set a guideline of just how much protein I should be having. I just want to eat clean. I want to eat less processed. I want to eat more plant-based. I want to eat tons of vegetables. Like I post my food all the time because I love to cook, like I said.
At My Trainer Bob, check him out on social media, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Bob Harper on Instagram. I love just coming up with just crazy stuff in my kitchen. Like I've got this skillet that I'm obsessed with, and I get into the refrigerator and I just pull out every vegetable. I go to the grocery store and find every single one out there. And I mean, last night my dinner was I made this whole cannellini bean with a bunch of peppers and squash, and that was my meal. And it was like the protein is going to be the beans, of course, but like I'm just looking at more of a balance as opposed to just like I need protein.
How's that different from how you were eating at the beginning of your career when you're in Hollywood? You're training, Gwyneth Paltrow or Selma Blair, all these people.
Yeah, I definitely was more high protein, high fat, low carb. That was how I lived, and not knocking that, it's just that like what I've gone through and what I'm genetically predisposed to, I need to really monitor the fat intake that I have, and I get real nervous when people out there are thinking high fat's such a great way to lose weight. Fat's not going to make you fat, and it's like when done correctly, we know that like your body will burn fat when you consume fat, as long as you take out all your carbohydrates. And for me, I just try to get people to really focus on getting more balance. I keep going back to that word, but I can't eat the high fat that I used to. It's like I've got to really watch that.
I mean, let's talk about the beginning of the career a little bit. I mean, what made you want to become a trainer and before The Biggest Loser and that whole journey?
Yeah, I've been in this business for a long time. I think I just turned 125 this past year.
You look great for 125.
Woo! Let me tell you. But I love it. I love. I've been in the business for about 25 years, truthfully, and I love being able to work with someone to get goals that they're trying to achieve, to try to get them to change behaviors in their lives that aren't working. It's really fascinating for me. It's like I did Loser for 17 seasons. I was the only person that was there every single season, and it was a long time in my life. And it was exciting. It was, and people said, "Did you get bored with this?" Because at the end of the day, we all have jobs, and however exciting those jobs are, they become a job. And but I loved it. I loved being able to sit with someone for the very first time and go, "Okay, what are you looking to do? What do you want to do?" And then we just slowly but surely build that life.
And was there any transformation that you were especially proud of or that you look back on?
I mean, our show had crazy transformations.
Amazing,
but
hundreds of pounds
yeah,
lost.
crazy. But I'll tell you this. There's a girl, she's a good friend of mine. She lives here in New York. Her name is Olivia Ward, and she won season 11 of the show. Came out of that show. Just saw her recently. She's a SoulCycle instructor here in the city. She just recently had a child that she named Harper because like we had such a connection. But she's living her, and this sounds so like one of a Miss America answer, but like she's living her best life. I mean, you know, it's like she has changed everything. Her husband, who was overweight before she came onto the show, he changed everything, which I think is like the key. The
support system.
A support system you must have, because when you lose all the weight, that's the easy part. It's keeping it off. And she really changed everything. And she's such a good friend, and she's like such a good soul, and a super success story.
I mean, when you were first, auditioning to be on The Biggest Loser, I mean, did you know what this show was going to become, that you were going to have an impact like that on someone's life?
I mean, that was a crazy audition process because I've been living in Los Angeles for a long time, and I had a really great clientele. I worked with a lot of super important people, and it was a lot of fun. So when they were starting to cast this show and they were looking for trainers, it became a 6-week-long audition process. And I mean, it was exhausting, but like, you know how you get when you really are doing what you're supposed to be doing in your life, you get that passion and you get that drive. Like, I knew that was my job. I knew it from the very beginning, and nothing was going to get in my way. It was like I became so, and I say this in the best possible way, I became so narrow-minded. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do, and that really felt good to know that, and the producers actually didn't know this toward the end, because it became the job got down to me and one other person, and they first went to him, and they had
wow, call them out right now, shame them.
No, I mean, he even, like, I talked to this guy before, and he was just like, what you did on that show, I could have never done. It was just like, we were totally different. So,
I mean, the energy, what you did on that show, exactly, the energy, beating people up. I mean, were you doing that with you just didn't let, you were relentless.
Yes.
With the pursuit to help these people.
Here's why I felt like I needed to be relentless, and it's a good word. I didn't know how long they were going to be there. Like, if you came to me and you were going to be on that show, you could be gone, because it was a competition show. It was like people were leaving left and right week after week. And so I had to do whatever I could do to wake you up. And it was hard and miserable. And like I would always say, as the seasons would go by, it's like, this is not for the faint at heart. This is not for, you don't think you're going to come onto this show and it's going to be in any way easy. Like, there's going to be chefs and a fabulous place to live. It's not. It's like, I mean, it was there. You're doing your own cooking. It was rough in there, and it's like it was a boot camp that needed to be like that, because you want to just do what you can to just like wake someone up, because when it's time for them to go home, you want to somehow have an impact.
I mean, speaking about heart, you have a lot of it. And you become an advocate after suffering a heart attack, which you mentioned earlier. I mean, can you tell us about that experience and how that's transformed your life, and sort of take us back to that day? I mean, I love how open you're being about it.
Yeah, well, February 12th of this year, I had a heart attack and immediately went into cardiac arrest into a gym, in a gym. And I was as surprised as everybody else when I woke up in that hospital 2 days later, surrounded by friends and family from Los Angeles and Tennessee. And when they told me what had happened to me, I literally was like, did you get the right file? Like, that could not have been me. I did not.
The picture of health.
I felt like I was doing everything right. And the fact that it wasn't just a heart attack. It was like they had to really like get it in my head that like I had gone into cardiac arrest. My heart stopped beating for a certain amount of time, and it was just like it was very overwhelming, and that's why coming out of that experience, I wanted to be as open, as honest as I could possibly be, and just like put my whole recovery out there on social media and just like somehow inspire people, because I was trying to inspire you, but what you were doing for me was inspiration. It was like I needed it because it has been the toughest time that I've ever gone through in my life.
And there were a lot of circumstances that led to you surviving that, right? There was a lot of chance things that could have gone wrong.
Chance things, that's exactly what it was. When I had the heart attack, I was in a gym. It was a Sunday morning. There was an event going on in the gym that led a doctor to be there that was not a member of the gym. So I had the quick action of my coach that was there and my good friend Sean that was there, and then the doctor that was there, calling 911. The fact that it was a Sunday morning here in New York, the paramedics were just like literally around the corner that could get to me. There was an AED in the gym, which didn't go off initially because I had flatlined, and so that's when the doctor that came up to me, he thought he was going to go down and see someone that had hit their head. He said he didn't realize the severity until he came and he saw me on the ground. He was like, I saw Bob Harper laying on the ground and I had already turned blue. And he was literally like, get out of the way and let me start going into action mode. And that's what he did.
It's amazing. I mean, can you just explain sort of the perspective around that and how that changed the direction of your life and what what you've implied since then?
Yeah. Well, everything's changed. When I sat with Dr. Oz and he went through my file soon after my heart attack, I mean, he looked at me and he was just like, you shouldn't be here, right? He's like, and what he did for me was really wake me up and tell me that I've been in a position to help people for a long time, and now I have more eyes on me that really need my help. And that's why I've just started this program that I'm working with AstraZeneca. I'm a member of this club. We call it the Heart Attack Survivors Club, and this is the club that nobody ever wants to be in. Right, you don't ever want to be in this club, but like I'm a member of this club now, and I'm going to do whatever I can do to help not only other survivors, but their friends and support systems, because this is a weird time to go through. It's like, it's a weird place in your life and you need guidance and you need navigation. And that's why I'm so excited. It's called Survivors Have Heart.
It's during February, right? American Heart Month.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's like I'm going to get to meet people that are other survivors that have gone through what I've gone through. And I think that it's so helpful for people to that are going through what I've gone through to have a voice in this. And it's really important, and that's why I love the fact that I've teamed up with AstraZeneca.
Absolutely. And are there any sort of things that you think people should have in their everyday life to sort of prevent something like this happening? I mean, CPR is something that you're an advocate for.
I feel like everyone in this room should be CPR certified. I feel like that girl on the bike going by, everyone, because we need people to go and be able to go into action mode, and we need people that are fast thinkers and they can move quickly, because I think that like before my heart attack, I would like to think that I would be one of those people that if I was on the subway and I saw someone going through something that I would do something. I don't know if I would or not, but now let me tell you, I got all of your backs. Anything's going on in this room right now, I know how to do CPR. We have to have an AED. So it's like that's what I want. I want people to be more aware of what's going on. Because, you know, we live in New York. We've got our earphones on, and we're just like, we're in our own little worlds. And we live in a world that people need help. And I want to be able to help.
Absolutely. Now, somebody who fitness is such a big part of their life, I mean, are you back to working out? I mean, how have you sort of gotten back into that?
That was a real tricky thing for me because I've always been the workout guy. The gym is my safe place. The gym is the place that I love to go because it's like, it's social for me. It's like, it's therapeutic. It's all these things. And all of a sudden, the gym was the place where I had a heart attack. It's where I died. And it was really scary. And in no way to make light of what I'm about to say, I felt like I had a certain amount of PTSD. Like I went into that gym and I started getting anxiety. It's like when my doctors finally allowed me to go there months and months later, I thought I was going to be able to go right back in there, Charles. I thought I was going to be able to just like, all right, let's go, let's do this. And my heart rate would go up and I would just like get fearful. And my friend Sean that I was with, who was with me that day, he kept watching me. And then everybody in the gym was looking at me too, so it was giving me even more anxiety. And I was just like, oh my God, it's just too much. And so Sean and I got to where we decided to start working out, just the two of us, in the same gym, but just like on off times. And that's been really helpful for me because it's like, it's built up my confidence. I don't work out at the same intensity. I'm a CrossFit guy. I love doing CrossFit. And I'm still doing CrossFit. People ask me, do you still do that? I'm like, absolutely. I love it. I love what Greg Glassman created. And I'm just doing it at a different intensity. I'm incorporating yoga, which yoga was never a thing for me. And now I go to a place here called Laughing Lotus, and you know, I love it.
It's amazing. And getting back to the support system, you have a new puppy, right? Can we talk about that?
I do.
I've been seeing that on social media.
I do. I love that dog. I love her. I have 2 dogs now. It's like, and my dog that I've had for a long time, his name is Carl. And my friends brought him into the hospital. I mean, he's been a huge part of my recovery. He has helped me. He doesn't even know how much he's helped me. And I have to be really careful when I talk about this because I will start to cry immediately. But so it's like he's been super helpful. And then all of a sudden during my recovery, I found out about this other little dog that needed a home and this little girl. And I got her, and she's been a pain in the ass, but she's been wonderful. Her name is Vivian, and like I love her. I love that dog so much.
So you saved their lives, and now they're saving your life.
They're saving my life. Let me tell you, I mean, I'm the guy that feeds them. They're the ones that just give me so much more.
That's so sweet. Well, we have some questions in the audience. We're going to start right there.
Hey, thanks for being here. I know that you've been an inspiration to so many people. I was wondering, what was the biggest piece of advice that you received when you started out as a trainer?
I think that's a really good question. The first thing the first bit of advice that I got was to really take personal training personally. There is no one plan fits all. You've got to really be able to look at the person that you're working with and find out how you can motivate them, how you can take care of this one body that we have. And it was a simple thing, but it has really stuck with me for to this day, and I love that. It's like I'm not one to just say this is how it should be, this is what you should eat, this is how you should work out, and it's going to work for everyone. Everyone is so different, and you got to treat them with kindness and care, and give them discipline. I'm a big believer in discipline.
Great answer. Next question.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
So for me, eating healthy, I'm not so bad at putting together a healthy meal, but it's the snacks where I kind of fall down, especially when I'm running around the city and I'm grabbing junk.
Yeah.
What are your kind of go-to healthy snacks?
Well, and I talk about this in the Super Carb Diet. I'm not a big snacker, and that's why I would much rather you have a proper meal. I want you to have 3 square meals a day, and I call this an extra meal, a floater meal, because snacking will really start to add up. And if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to lose fat, you have to be aware of every single thing that you put in your mouth. That means, all those coffee drinks, that you're standing in line after a gym workout and you're drinking something that's got like 600 calories in it. Like, you have to be aware. So it's like, spend more time having a meal that you're actually sitting down to with a fork and a knife, and then try to stay away from those snacks, because I just feel like people are unconsciously eating. You know, they're not aware of it. And all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, I've been so good. Why am I not losing weight? And then when you start to really do the math, when you sit down and you write down, and it's annoying. It's busy work that nobody wants to do. But if you're trying to lose weight, you've got to write down everything that you are eating in the course of the day, because you need a roadmap.
It's all in the book, guys. Okay, one last question.
Hey, Bob.
Hi.
What are some of your favorite mantras that keep you motivated?
Oh, well, I'm a big TM guy. I do transcendental meditation. So I have one mantra that I'm not allowed to tell anybody what it is, but I have that's really powerful for me. But also, the main thing that I've been saying since my heart attack is just cut yourself some slack. It's like, I've been a person that has been so rigid. Like I said, I like discipline. But now to be able to just cut yourself some slack, find the joy, find the gratitude in your day. Those are the things that are really important to me. I just saw Dan Rather last night do an interview, being interviewed by Andy Cohen. And one thing that Dan Rather said was, do one kind thing for one person in your day, whatever that is. It could just be like a hi to someone on the subway, something like that, because it's going to help to change the world. And those are like the mantras that are in my head all the time now.
I like that. Well, guys, the Super Carb Diet is on stands now. And one more round of applause for Bob Harper. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.